So the descriptive analytics or analysis algorithms does exactly, if you take this item set, these are the subsets obtained by these supersets. Okay, 2, 3, 5 is greater than 50% or minimum 50%. Frequently occurring patterns between different items. When do you consider an association rule interesting is when you have minimum confidence. Concept, the association rule will address how to mine or extract the association rules. Hello students, welcome to the next session of Cloud Computing and Big Data Analytics. In this session, I'm going to tell you about the descriptive analytics, the analytical algorithm which describe the data that are collected in a big data processing, Okay, let's start this session. The session starts with the descriptive analytics. What are these descriptive analytics? So the descriptive analytics or analysis algorithms does exactly what the name descriptive analytics implies. What they are going to do is they summarize or describe the raw data. The data that we are collected will be described by these algorithms and make it something what is interpretable by humans. Takes that raw data into a form which is readable and understandable, that is interpretable by the human beings. Okay, there is no real target variable in this analytics available. So hence, the descriptive analytics is often referred to as the unsupervised learning. It is called as the unsupervised learning because there is no target variable. You need not to worry about the target variable because descriptive analytical algorithm doesn't have the target variable to start or initiate the learning process. Which variable we have to study, we don't know. That is why it's called as the unsupervised learning analytics. The three most common types of descriptive analytics are given here. One is the association rules, another is the sequence rules, and third is the clustering. So we have these rules. The association rules will detect frequently occurring patterns between different items. Example, detecting what products are frequently purchased together in a supermarket, detecting what words frequently co-occur in a text document, what are the words, detecting what elective courses are frequently chosen by a university student. So frequency of the patterns in the items will be carried out by the association rules. Then we have the sequence rules. Sequence rule will detect sequence of events. Example, detecting sequence of purchase behavior in a supermarket. How sequentially, in a sequential manner, the items are selected. Detecting sequences of web page visit. So how sequentially the web page from one web page to another web page using the links, the user is going to collect the information. Third is example, detecting sequence of words. The repetition along with the sequence will be done by the association and the sequence rule. Then we have the clustering. Clustering will detect homogeneous segments of observation. Example, differentiating between the brands in a marketing portfolio. Clustering or grouping customer population for targeted marketing. So clustering name itself says it is the grouping one. Let's know about all these types in detail. The first thing is the association rules. So in this concept, the association rule will address how to mine or extract the association rules from the data, how they are associated with each other. First, the basic setting will be discussed, how to do the basic setting of the data to extract an association rule. This will be followed by a discussion of support and confidence. How does the items support each other, and confidence between the two datas, which are two key measures for the association rule mining. How to extract the association rule between the datas. Next is, we'll zoom into the association rule mining process. How to extract the data. And the lift measure will be introduced to uplift the data quality. So that is the lift measure. The section will be concluded by discussing the post-processing extensions and various applications of association rules. Let's know about all these things. The basic setting tells you about the database of transactions. How does the data are stored? What are the data collected in the transaction? When we consider it as D as taken as the database transaction. Each transaction consists of a transaction identifier to identify a particular transaction and a set of item products. What are the item products that are included in that transaction, or the web pages or the courses in three different examples like I1, I2 to IN, whether it is products or web pages or courses will be I1, I2 to IN. You can have n number of items or n number of web pages or n number of courses. So selected from all possible items I. So table here we have gives an example of a transaction database in a supermarket setting. Here we have the transaction identifier for different items. So beer, milk, diapers, baby food, these has identified as transaction identifier 1. Here we have so many items. These items are listed with a transaction identifier. So how do we use this? An association rule is then implied of the form X implies Y. So association rule, X is associated with Y, where X is an item of subset of I, Y is a subset of I, and X intersection Y will give you a set of values, five values. X is referred to as the rule antecedent, whereas Y is referred to as the rule consequent, antecedent and consequent. Example of association rules you can get is, if a customer has a car loan and car insurance, car loan is there, we have the car insurance as well. So then the customer has a checking account in 80% of the cases. So you have to check for the loan as well as the insurance. So if a customer buys a product, say a spaghetti, then the customer buys red wine in 70% of the cases. So that is example. If he buys this product, he'll buy this one also, isn't it? So if we take book, there is a probability that 70% you'll choose or you'll buy the pen also. If you buy a pencil, along with that you will buy 70% of the time you will buy an eraser and a sharpener, isn't it? So this is the basic setting. If a customer visits a web page, then the customer visit web page B, the link is given in web page A. That means the 90% of the customers or the viewers of the web page visit web page B from the web page A in 90% of the cases. Customers or the visitors will visit page B, with the link is given in page A, so they will visit page B in 90% of the cases. Okay, it is hereby important to note that association rules are stochastic in nature or random in nature, isn't it? So it doesn't depend on any item or anybody. So it is random in nature, which means it is not interpreted as the universal truth and are characterized by the statistical measures which quantifies the strength of the association. How strongly two items are associated will be given by the association rules. Also, the rules measure the correlation association, how they are correlated, and should not be interpreted in a casual way. So it has to get the hidden association between the two datas. The support and the confidence. Next step after basic setting is building analyzing the support and confidence between two datas involved in a association rule. So support and confidence are two key measures to identify or quantify the strength of the association rule, how strongly two datas are associated. The support of an item set is defined as the percentage of total transactions in the database that contains that particular item set. If you take one set of items like beer, diapers, the one set if you take, the support is defined as percentage of total transactions. How does the customer is transacting in that particular item set in the database? Okay. The rule X associated with Y has a support yes. So we have the support yes if 100% of the transactions in a database D contains X union Y. If both the values are intersected, you will get 100% support. They are supporting each other, the products. It can be formally defined as like this. Support X union Y is equal to number of transactions supporting X union Y divided by total number of transactions will give you how much they are supporting the products. Like if you buy a book, and what are the probability of buying the eraser and the sharpener. So that is the support given by both. If you purchase the eraser, each time you may not buy the pencil, isn't it? If you buy a sharpener, it is not mandatory that you buy a pencil each time, isn't it? So that may be the definition of the support. When considering the transaction database in a table, the association rule baby food and diapers associated beer has support of 3/10 or only 30%. Purchasing baby food, diaper and beer has an association of only 30%. When you take only the association between baby food and diapers, it may rise up to 80% or 70%, isn't it? Sometimes when we purchase baby diapers, along with that, we purchase the baby food also, isn't it? So, diapers and baby food are tightly coupled or supported item sets, whereas when they are associated with beer, it has a support of only 30%. A frequent item set is one for which the support is higher than the threshold, that is minimum support, that is typically specified upfront by the business user or data analyst. So data analyst has to check for the frequent item set which has the support higher than the minimum. He has to check with the item sets. Lower the support will obviously generate more frequent item sets. Okay, if the support is lower, it has higher more frequent item sets. More frequently we are going to buy when we have less support. When you have higher support, the frequency will be less of taking the sets. Okay. So the confidence, whereas the confidence measures the strength of the association and is defined as the conditional probability. The probability or conditional probability of the rule consequent. Given the rule antecedent, we use the rule consequent and the rule antecedent. So both are combined to get a confidence. Okay. The rule X associated with Y has a confidence C if 100% of the transaction in a database D that contains X also contain Y. If X is there, then Y will be there. It can be formally defined as like this. Confidence with X associated Y will have probability of Y having the sets Y or X. If you take support of X union Y divided by support of X. How X is confident about the support of the Y? That is the confidence. Okay. Again, the data analyst has to specify a minimum confidence. What is the percentage of confidence over one product to another product or one data set to another data set? In order for an association rule to be considered interesting. When do you consider an association rule interesting is when you have minimum confidence. Okay. When considering the next table, the association rule has baby food and diapers associated with beer has a confidence of 3/5 or 60%. So the data analyst has a confidence that when there is a purchase of baby food and diapers, the beer may be purchased 60% of the times. This is the support and the confidence. Then we'll know about the association rule mining. Okay. Mining is extracting, nothing but extracting. So mining association rules from a data is essentially a two-step process. What are the two steps that we follow? One is identification. Identification of all item sets having support above the minimum support, which are above the threshold. That item sets will be identified, that is frequent item sets. Then discovery of all derived association rules having confidence above minimum confidence. Both the support and the confidence must be above the threshold. Okay. So that data must be extracted. Okay. Both minimum support and minimum confidence need to be specified with the data analyst. You have to give the minimum confidence, minimum support threshold for the data analyst to extract the data. The first step here is performed using a special type of algorithm known as a priori algorithm. The basic notion of a priori states that every subset of a frequent item set. So along with set, you'll have a subset. Every subset of a frequent item set is frequent as well, or conversely, every superset of an infrequent item set is infrequent. If it is main item set is frequent, then the subset is also frequent. If the superset is infrequent, then the subset will also be infrequent. This implies that, or this denotes that the candidate item set with k items, k number of items, can be found by pairwise joining the frequent item sets. We join frequent item sets with k minus 1 number of items and deleting those sets that have infrequent subsets. So we relate only to the frequent superset and subset, and we delete the infrequent subsets. Along with that, the number of candidate subsets are also taken to be evaluated can be decreased. The times we calculate the candidate subsets that are associated with superset and subset will be decreased, which will substantially improve the performance of the algorithm. It improves the performance of the a priori algorithm because fewer databases passes will be required. So in less time, you can execute the algorithm and get the frequent data sets, frequent supersets as well as supersets, subsets, and the candidate sets. All will be calculated. So a priori algorithm is given in this picture. We use the minimum support and minimum confidence. We have the item sets, the transaction ID, the item sets we use 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we use the support. What is the support? Out of 4. Then we use item sets. Support we use with everything. Okay. 1, 3 and 2, 3 gives rise to 1, 2, 3. Supersets and subsets. So set of 1, 2, 3, but because of 1, 2 is not frequent, 3 is only frequent, 1, 2 is not frequent, isn't it? Since 1 and 2 are not frequent, you do not have to consider those items. Which you have to consider is only 3. Result we get is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Then 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 5, 3, 5 and 2, 3, 5. So we get the result of association rule, how they are associated. So we get 1, 2, 3, 5. So because we have the minimum support is 50%, all these are more than 50%, only they will be considered. Then we have 1, this is not considered. We have 1, 3 greater than 50%, 2, 3 greater than 50% and 2, 5 greater than 50% and 2, 5 and 3, 5 which are greater than minimum support. Then if you take this item set, all these are considered. If you take this item set, these are the subsets obtained by these supersets. Okay, 2, 3, 5, it is greater than 50% or minimum 50%. So it will be considered as the associated items. So they will be extracted from the database transactions. Okay. Once the frequent item sets have been found, the association rules can be generated in a straightforward way. We can generate the items in a straightforward way like this. For each frequent item set K, if you take a frequent item set K, generate all non-empty subsets of K. Non-empty, that is the subsets having the items will be considered. For every non-empty subset S of K, output the rule S associated with K minus S, the items obtained by subtracting the frequent item set from the non-empty subset if the confidence is greater than minimum confidence. The confidence can be easily computed using the support values. We get support values for the confidence that were obtained during the frequent item set mining. When we mine or extract the frequent item set, we get the support values. What are the supporting items? Okay, when there is pen, when there is a book, what are the supporting items you need? Like stick notes, maybe clip, maybe board. All these are the supporting values, isn't it? So for the frequent item set like baby food, diapers, if you take bare, the following association rule can be derived, that is diapers, bare, baby food will have a confidence of 75%. Baby food and bare, when they are having diapers purchasing, will have a confidence of 75%, whereas when you have baby food plus diapers associated with bare, will have a confidence of only 60%. That means when you buy one of the baby food, it can be associated with another baby food. When you have the bare with that, the association will be little bit lesser. Bare in these are the antecedents and these are the consequent. So when the antecedents contains one baby food, baby item, along with the bare, the confidence will be high. When you have antecedents only baby foods and the complement or consequent is the bare, the confidence will be very much less, isn't it? When you have only bare as the antecedent and consequent has baby food and diapers, confidence will be only 50%. When you have only baby food associated with diapers and bare, the confidence will be still less, 43%. When you have diapers as the antecedents and baby food and bare as the consequent, the confidence is only 43%. Okay. So if the minimum confidence is set to 70%, only the first two association rules will be kept for the further analysis. So the data analyst has to set the minimum confidence level so that how many data you can get for analysis will be decided. Okay, so this is about the confidence, the product, the confidence, the support and the association rule mining. In the next session, we shall continue more about this. Thank you.